My name is Diris, I do builds and stuff. Today I've got a blinding Arc Titan build for you. This build is absolutely insane, I am not joking you. We're going to be taking full advantage of all the blinding effects with Spark of Beacons, creating blinding attacks everywhere, and then we're going to be taking full advantage of the brand new seasonal artifact perk, Arc Compounding, to get an extra 15% against Arc Blinded target. And this build makes enemies feel like putty in your hands. It's an absolute joke, so easy, and we're going to be able to do a long distance blinding. This video is a little bit longer than normal, but there's a lot to it, so stay with me, I'm going to break it down. We are going to be featuring weapons like Ergo with the Arc Conductor. We've also got other weapons to show you. Diris works really well with this build as well, so if you like the moths, you're going to love this build as well. So we're going to be taking full advantage of Diris and Arc Conductor Ergo with this build as well. And like I said, before I get into the full breakdown, it is a little bit longer than normal, but it's well worth it, so stay with me. I promise you, you'll be very, very impressed. So what I've done with this build is gone full on Arc Titan, non-prismatic, striker subclass. The fragment that's going to be the main catalyst to this build is Spark of Beacons. While you are amplified, your Arc special or heavy ammo weapon, Final Blows, creates a blinding explosion. This is the main source of the build. Seasonal artifact perks, the thick of it. Rapid Final Blows while surrounded, grant you an armor charge. You've also got the boosted version. When you're surrounded, it's going to give you weapons enhanced sort of handling, swords, increased charge rate, things like that. But it's not like a biggie, you don't have to boost that one, as long as you get the Rapid Final Blows while you're surrounded. Then we're going to run Retinal Burn, Rapid Arc Precision Hits, consume an armor charge to blind the target. With Trace Evidence, Rapid Precision Hits or Rapid Final Blows on targets affected by Jolt or Blind will generate Ionic Traces. Then the boosted version, which is actually quite important, picking up an Ionic Trace will grant you an armor charge, and that procs your Retinal Burn, Rapid Arc Precision Hits, consume an armor charge to blind the target. So it's a vicious little cycle of blinding sort of seasonal artifact perks, and this obviously opens up the blinding effects, the blinding damage increase from Arc Compounding. Arc sources deal increased damage to blind targets. Now this is a 15% damage increase to all Arc sources from blinding effects. So this opens up everything Arc, weapons, abilities, so that everything, even your super. So it's just an absolutely perfect way to keep this Arc Compounding buff up all of the time. So to take advantage of some Arc weapon damage, Diris fits this build perfectly. It's got the perk on there, Loyal Moths, Final Blows and Rapid Direct Hits. With this weapon, create Loyal Moths. The moth will seek out nearby targets and detonate, damaging and blinding them. So that's a right good combo, obviously. You've also got this weapon enrages when dealing or taking sustained damage, gaining increased rate of fire when you are enraged. And then the catalyst is exceptional, it really makes this tick. This weapon enrages faster while amplified. Final Blows with this weapon make you amplified. So that's an absolutely perfect weapon to pair with it. So you can literally run around like so with your Diris, blinding everything, getting extra damage from the blinding effects. Ergo is another one which is absolutely perfect. Arc Conductor, Caster Frame. This also gives you arc damage reduction as well, and this creates blinding bursts everywhere you go with the Spark of Beacons. It's an absolute joke. Ergo it just feels really, really good. So we're literally running around, blinding everything with your Ergo Chain Reaction, your Arc Conductor. That's basically what this is. It's the perk from Risk Runner on this sword, and everything is getting sort of chained up with Arc Energy, and you're also blinding, and you're doing extra damage via the compounding buff this season, extra 15%, and you're literally running around, blinding everything left, right and centre, doing extra damage from all the blinding effects. It just fits the bill really, really nice, does this Ergo Abilities, I like to run a Flashbang Grenade. This is obviously excellent for this build because this blinds, this also opens up all the blinded damage. Seismic Strike, this also blinds, an absolutely brilliant melee is that one. Bittersweet, Crux Determination, just two other weapons just to sort of consider. There's loads of different weapons, but for example, get in there, blind something, get your Bittersweet out, or your Crux Determination with Explosive Light getting extra damage going from all the blinding effects. But back to the Ergo Sum, just for a few minutes. This sword, with all the sort of exotic traits that it's got, the chaining effects, the increased arc resistance that you get as well from this sword, and on top of that, again, I keep banging on about it, but you're going to be blinding things with the spark of beacons and doing extra damage. So all that chaining effect is just blinding, doing extra damage, and it feels like a really, really good sword. And this happens all the time, but you can sort of see in this clip how strong this is. If you just watch all these ads that are going to spawn on this top right over here, I'm going to do one attack, and that is it. I'm going to run into them, and they're blinded, and they're taking extra damage. Again, it's crazy. Now, we haven't even got into the exotic yet. There's a couple, but for me, Precious Scars fits the bill absolutely perfectly. It's got the perk on there, Final Blows from Weapons. With a damage type matching your super, create a burst of healing. It gives you restoration ×1, heals you and heals your teammates, and it also gives a nice overshield when you revive your teammates too. So not only are we running around doing extra damage with the blinding effects, blinding everything, we are actually going to be healing ourselves and our teammates on the fly. Anything that's damaged there, blinded, extra damage, healing on the go. Extra damage from the blinding effects. This includes your super, weapons, everything. Thunder Crash, or even the roaming super if you want. They just recently got buffed as well. So all extra damage, whichever way you look at it, and that healing from the Precious Scars. The other option, if you want to stick to swords, is Strongholds. I did a build on that last season, which will really go nice with this as well. I'll link that. But if you're mixing weapons up and not just using swords, Precious Scars is absolutely fantastic for this build. So what we're going to do now is just finalise all the aspects and fragments so I'm not confusing you. Touch of Thunder, this enhances all of your grenades. Flashbang Grenade in specifically, this emits an additional flashbang on bounce, so that's a really good fit. The next one, this is where it makes the build really nice. Knockout, this is an absolutely a brilliant aspect because this gets you amplified whenever you're on. It increases your melee attacks and everything, but being amplified with that is easy days. Flashbang Grenade, Seismic Strike, which is the ones we've already gone over. Fragment, Spark of Beacons, which we've touched on. While you're amplified, your arc special weapons create a burst. Spark of Recharge, while critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy regenerate more quickly. Just getting that extra boost to your Flashbang Grenade or your melee just to get you out of the doo-doo is a big time. Spark of Resistance, while you are surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. And then Spark of Shock to make our Flashbang Grenades jolt. Now, Ergo Sum ticked off, I've shown you that. I want to show you the Diris now. This also works just as good as the Ergo Sum, if not better. So you've got plenty of options. The moths from this are going to blind anyway, after so long, every so often. But you've also got that Spark of Beacons. Again, I know I keep banging on about it, but that's also going to be blinded all of the time on top of that. And another thing to mention with the art compounding, you're obviously giving yourself that 15%, but not only blinding for your teammates, you're also buffing their damage out every single attack as well. Now, Overload Grenade Launcher, if you're running Diris, this is a no-brainer. This is going to stun overloads. Concussive Reload, whenever you damage a champion or break shield, it's also going to weaken. So that with the blinding effects on Diris feels really, really nice. And again, the art compounding on top of that weakening effect. So Diris or Ergo Sum both work with this build. I'm going to show you a bit of the sort of Diris working now and how good this is. You can just literally weaken everything, and then loyal moths and the Spark of Beacons are just going to be applying that blinding effect all of the time. You've got that healing going from your Precious Scars for you and your teammates, giving your teammates that buff as well. It just feels absolutely perfect. There's some obviously other weapons to consider as well. Any arc special weapon will work. I just focused on these two. Even heavy weapons like Queenbreaker's Bow and Prospector as well, they're all perfectly fine. But like I said, I found these two, they're probably the best in slot for this particular build. Now, I just want to really quickly focus on this one more time because this is absolutely insanely strong. Retinal Burn, rapid arc weapon precision hits, consume an armor charge to blind the target. And then you've also got Trace Evidence, rapid precision hits or rapid final blows on targets affected by jolt or blind will generate an ionic trace. And you can pick the ionic trace up to give yourself an armor charge. So it's like a cycle. So if you've got like an arc weapon that does precision hits, which we'll go into in a moment, you can literally just loop the blinding effects from a distance as well. And if you've got weapons with jolting feedback, the pulse vantage point, you can literally just jolt and blind everything from a distance as well. Like I said, vantage point's really good. There's quite a few weapons with the jolting feedback perk, maybe like 3 or 4, the new SMG as well. But in this clip here, you'll just see the strength of this, the blinding effects at a distance. So if you don't have your flashbang grenade or your seismic strike, you've literally got infinite blinding up 100% of the time, whichever way you look at it. And this little cycle is super strong. Just being able to sort of eliminate enemies at a distance, stop them damaging you, don't forget they won't do nothing while they're blinded. And again, one last time, applying that blinded debuff for you and your teammates. Another last little clip here to show you the strength of that sort of artifact pet combo. Like right at a distance, everything around that target there is just sort of blinded. Completely useless, they can't do anything to you. But yeah, that's the video. Let me know what you think. I'll leave a dim link in case I can explain things well enough in the video description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.